Attention passionate Buffalo, BILLSFANS. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Buffalo Bills' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Buffalo Bills fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Buffalo, BILLSFANS. Let's get to the news. All right, Bills Mafia, buckle up because the NFL rumor mill is buzzing with one of the most intriguing trade scenarios we've seen in recent memory. The talk is that the Tennessee Titans might be willing to move on from one of their key defensive stars, Jeffrey Simmons, and the potential landing spot that's being floated around is none other than our beloved Bills. Now I know what you're thinking. Simmons is a beast, a game wrecker on the defensive line, and any Bills fan would love to see him in a Bills uniform. But the real question here is, what would a trade like that look like, and what could it mean for Buffalo's Super Bowl aspirations? Let's dig into the details. Rumors, notably from insider Diana Rossini, suggest that the Titans, who are currently sitting at an abysmal 4-13 record and clearly tanking for a top draft pick in 2025, are actively exploring trades to rebuild. Their focus is on acquiring draft assets, especially a quarterback they hope can turn their franchise around. So the word is that they might be open to trading Jeffrey Simmons, a disruptive force on the defensive interior, in exchange for a first-round pick in 2026 and a second-rounder in 2027. This kind of haul would be a huge win for the Titans, giving them the flexibility to select a franchise QB and build for the future, especially considering Simmons's impending $25 million extension. Now, why would the Bills be interested? Well, for starters, Simmons is an absolute game changer. He's a player who can take over games with his brute strength, quickness, and relentless pressure. You see his stats for 2025 so far. 16 games played, 75 tackles with 48 solo stops, 5 sacks, 15 tackles for loss, and an overall PFF grade of 88. 0, which is elite. He's a guy who can anchor the middle of the defensive line, control the line of scrimmage, and significantly reduce the rushing yards opponents gain against us. The Bills' defense, already one of the best in the league, would get a massive upgrade with Simmons in the fold, especially after the injury concerns surrounding Daquan Jones, whose health has been a question mark lately. Imagine adding Simmons to this front seven, a unit that has been solid but could be even more dominant. His presence would elevate our run defense, which is seated around 125 yards per game in 2025, and will allow us to limit the opposing offense's ability to control the clock and keep our offense on the field longer. That translates directly into more scoring opportunities for Josh Allen and our talented receivers. Plus, with Simmons, the Bills could project around 11 more sacks this season, pushing our total pass rush to a new level. It's like adding a force of nature that can blow up plays in the backfield and create chaos for quarterbacks, especially in high-stakes moments. In terms of team impact, this move could have ripple effects beyond just defense. The Bills' offense would benefit from having more possessions, potentially adding around 5 extra drives per game, which could easily bump our scoring average from around 26 points to over 29. That kind of offensive boost, combined with a strengthened defense, could be the difference in close games, especially in the playoffs. And let's not forget, a defense with Simmons would be a nightmare for teams like the Kansas City Chiefs or Cincinnati Bengals, as well as a challenge for the AFC's run-heavy teams like the Ravens and Derrick Henry-led Titans. Now, what about the broader playoff implications? Well, the odds of the Bills winning the Super Bowl could see a dramatic shift. Currently, with the potential addition of Simmons, some betting markets are moving from +3, 0 odds to around +1, 200. A huge jump that reflects the increased confidence in Buffalo's championship chances. Simmons's disruptive style makes him a key player in playoff scenarios, especially against run-heavy offenses, and his presence could help the Bills become one of the most feared defenses in the league. Imagine the impact on the AFC Championship game or a potential Super Bowl matchup. Having Simmons would give us a physically intimidating front that could dominate the line of scrimmage and limit the best offenses in the league. Of course, the trade isn't without risks. The Titans are asking for 2 high-value draft picks, and giving up a player like Simmons, who is still young and ascending, could be seen as a gamble. But for the Bills, who are deep in their window of contention, this kind of move could be a game changer. It's about seizing the moment, making a bold statement that we're all in on winning now, not just hoping for a postseason run, but aiming for that Lombardi trophy. Simmons' presence would also send a message across the league. Buffalo is serious about being a dominant force in the AFC, and we're willing to make bold moves to get there. Looking at the historical context, this isn't the first time Bills fans have seen big trades impact a franchise. Think back to the days when we acquired players who changed the course of our seasons, or when we made bold moves in free agency. This could be one of those moments again. Adding a player of Simmons' caliber, especially in a division as competitive as the AFC East, would help us establish a new standard and set a tone for the rest of the league. It's not just about adding talent. It's about sending a message that Buffalo is here to contend for championships, not just playoff appearances. And let's take a quick look at what this means for the division. The Dolphins, Jets, and Patriots are all making moves of their own, but if the Bills land Simmons, it could tilt the balance of power significantly. The Bills' front seven would become an impenetrable force, forcing opponents to rethink their game plans. The Jets, with their young quarterback and emerging defense, will need to elevate their game, but a Simmons-led Bills front could be a major obstacle. The Dolphins, who have been trying to optimize their offensive weapons and secondary, might find themselves overwhelmed by a Bills defense that now boasts Simmons as a centerpiece. It could be the kind of move that not only elevates the Bills, but also sets us apart from the pack, establishing us as the team to beat in the AFC. And speaking of the playoffs, Simmons' impact would be felt even beyond the regular season. His ability to disrupt in high-pressure moments could be a key factor in playoff games, especially against teams that rely heavily on their rushing attack. For example, in AFC battles against teams like the Ravens or even the Chiefs, Simmons' presence could be the difference-maker that allows us to contain the run game and force teams into uncomfortable passing situations. His disruption potential could lead to more turnovers, more sacks, and ultimately, more wins when it matters most. As for the fans, this is exactly the kind of move that energizes the entire Bills Mafia. It's a clear statement that the organization is committed to winning now, that we're willing to make bold moves to elevate our team to the next level. The excitement around adding a player like Simmons would be palpable. Imagine the hype, the debates, the endless discussions about how he'll fit into the scheme and how he'll change the dynamics of our defense. It's a perfect storm of opportunity, and if the trade happens, it could be remembered as one of the most impactful in Bills history. Of course, we all have questions. Will the Titans accept the offer? Will Simmons want to come to Buffalo? How will our salary cap accommodate this move? These are all valid questions, but one thing is certain. The potential is there, and the opportunity to make a statement is right in front of us. If the Bills pull the trigger, it could be a turning point, not just for this season, but for the future of the franchise. It's about building a team that can compete at the highest level, a team that can bring the Lombardi Trophy back to Buffalo after so many years of near misses. In conclusion, this rumor of Jeffrey Simmons heading to the Bills is more than just speculation. It's a signal that Buffalo is serious about competing for championships. The move would reinforce our defense, elevate our entire team, and possibly reshape the AFC landscape. The Bills have always been known for their resilience and fighting spirit, and adding a player like Simmons would just take that identity to a whole new level. So, stay tuned, Bills fans, because if this trade happens, it's going to be a game changer, and we'll be right here to cover every moment of it. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Buffalo Bills news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Buffalo Bills fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Bills organization. Do you think Simmons is the missing piece for a Super Bowl run? Would you be willing to part with those draft picks to bring him in? Let us know. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Buffalo Bills news. This offseason is shaping up to be one of the most exciting in recent history, and we're all in this together, ready to cheer on our Bills to greatness.